Hey, how's it going, guys? As you know, I'm Mr. Hill. I'm your algebra teacher. Welcome to day 2. Welcome to Tuesday. I know that you guys have probably already done that Google Classroom know-how, and so now you're wondering, what is this other big project that this guy's about to have us do? This video is being recorded in my house, in my room. Just to let you guys know a little bit about me, my dad's worked in the Dayton area for about a year now, and so my parents actually wound up buying a house here. And since I started teaching here, I thought that it would be nice to save some money and just rent the basement from them. So it was a nice finished basement, brand new house. I like the setup a lot. I've got some funky light panels in the background and some cool hue lights that listen to me like, Alexa, turn off the basement.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on the basement.
Okay.
And I like it a lot. It's a pretty nice setup. Personally, it's cool to be able to just come downstairs and tell the lights to come on and off. But that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. I know you guys are doing all of your school stuff from your home. And so while 90% of what I do is going to be from at the school, I wanted to make sure that you guys got to see where I'm at, where I'm living, and what's going on and everything. I wanted to come to you a little more personally. Today's assignment is I want you guys to tell me about your history of mathematics. And so before I explain that, I wanted to tell you guys about me and how I came into being the math teacher that I am now. So I grew up in a basic suburban school. I went to Delaware Hayes High School and Delaware City Schools. And I'd say I always did pretty well. In third grade, I was put into some gifted track for mathematics, and it made things a lot more challenging. Instead of being able to breeze through stuff, I seemed to struggle. And so when I finished up sixth grade math, I went straight into Algebra 1 as a seventh grader. And I tell you what, I could have really used those extra 2 years of mathematics to help build a stronger foundation because my first quarter, I got a D. And then my second quarter, I got a C. My third quarter, I pulled a B. But my fourth quarter, I wrapped up with a C, and I wound up getting a C for the year. And that's not to say that C's aren't good. C's do count. C's do show that you know a lot, and we could talk about different problems with the grading system all the time. But either way, I got a C, and it just kind of left me feeling a bit lackluster about math as a whole. Wasn't a big fan. In eighth grade, I had the same teacher that I had for Algebra 1 for geometry, and I fared a lot better. I got a B, an A my third quarter, and then a B for my fourth quarter. And so I wrapped up with a B for a year despite getting an A on my final exam. And it finally felt like things started to click. So then, fast forward to high school, took Algebra 2, and I took pre-calc. It was very similar to the way that things had gone in geometry. But at the end of the year for pre-calc, our teacher was giving out recommendations for who should take AP Calculus and who should just take college algebra or adult math. And there's no shame in taking any of those courses. No shame in going any different route. Whether you take AP Calculus or you're going to take some sort of Sinclair mathematics class, or if you wind up only getting through pre-calc, or if you only get through algebra and geometry. As long as you can understand the basics in algebra and geometry, I know you're going to be successful. But when it came to getting recommended for AP Calc, my teacher was like, oh, your grade was 2% below what I usually make the cutoff, so I'm going to recommend you just take college algebra. And the way that she said it, just take college algebra, just do this, only go so far, really made me think, heck no. I'm going to take calculus. I want to take AP Calculus. I want to prove you wrong. I want to do what I can do. I want to show you what I can do, and I want to go be successful in mathematics. And so I took AP Calc that year, and I fared pretty well. I wound up getting a 3 on the AP exam. It's a 5-point rating scale. A 3 gets you the credit. 4s and 5s usually mean they're not going to ask you to retake calculus in college. And so I did well, but I still had one more year, and I could take AP Calculus BC, which is technically Calc 2. We could talk about all that weird stuff and what's involved in the AP courses versus the college ones, etc. But I'll spare you the details there. I took AP Calc BC, had a brand new teacher, Mr. Schaefer, and that guy just made me fall head over heels for mathematics. He was a wonderful teacher. He was very good at what he did. He taught Algebra 1 and AP Calc, and I loved that he had those opposite ends of the spectrum, because you've got like those freshman first-year students or people that need to repeat the course just because there was some stuff that they struggled with, and then you also have the people that finished up their high school math like 2 years early and are taking AP Calculus 2. And so it was cool because he was taking all the skills he used with us into his algebra classes, and it helped his students become successful, but he didn't forget about some of like the basic foundations of mathematics that were needed for calculus and was able to reinforce those for us. Long story short, I ended the year with a 5 on the AP BC exam. I was able to skip Calc 1 and Calc 2 in college. I took about a semester's worth of credits in to school, which helped make my junior and senior year workloads for college at Bowling Green a little bit easier. But that Calc BC class is what really made me want to be a math teacher. I wrote in my kindergarten graduation speech that when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. I also wanted to play professional basketball, but getting cut from the 7th grade team kind of took away from that. So I wanted to go into business and banking all through grade school because that's what my dad did. But then that senior year, I was like, you know what? I do want to be a teacher. And then I explored BG's campus and Ohio University and the University of Cincinnati and Ohio State and Ohio Wesleyan, this college that was in my hometown. And I just went to BG and felt at home when I was touring the campus. And so that class helped me choose mathematics. Going on that college visit made me choose BG. I got into a good scholarship program for math and science educators that took care of half of my tuition for the full 4 years, which is really nice. I talked about it in my Intro to Me video. I got a lot of extra like research opportunities. But then in college, the math classes, they got harder and they got tougher, but there was a lot more like academic support as long as I took advantage of it. So it was on me to go see the office hours. It was on me to meet with the professor. It was on me to do the homework. It was on me to read the textbook on my own. And that was tough. It took a bit to get acclimated to. But I loved it because math's a universal language. Like, it just works. We're not working on, like, conjugations of verbs in French or Spanish. Je parle le français, je ne parle pas l'espagnol. I can speak sign language a little bit, like my name is Josh. But when it comes to math, the numbers are numbers. They may be represented differently across different languages, but the numbers are what they are. And so, and taking a variety of different classes, Calc 3, differential equations, linear algebra, modern algebra, discrete math, modern geometry, history of mathematics, advanced mathematics for secondary educators, how to teach algebra, how to teach geometry, intro to education. All of these classes really made me come to love the way that math is presented, and it made me think of all kinds of ways that I can try and present it to you. And so math is something I came into middle and high school struggling with. It's something I came into college feeling very successful at. And it's something that I struggled with the whole 4 years. But obviously I love math enough to be a math teacher. To want to impart some of my knowledge and wisdom to you guys. But my experiences in math classes have just been that persistence is key. You gotta take a problem and really persevere in solving it in order to develop not just like a procedural fluency, like I've got to subtract this, carry the 1, but like an actual knowledge of the inner workings of equations and graphical representations and the way that I'm going to chart a line on the graph, or the way that numbers work together when I'm multiplying or dividing them based off of whether they're positive or negative. And so I think math is cool. You'll never hear me say it's not, especially as your algebra teacher. You ask me what 3 things I use every day, it's going to be my phone, my AirPods, and math. Whether it's calculating the drive time to get to school, how long I've got to spend recording this video, how long you guys are going to take doing the writing prompt that I'm about to ask you to do, whether it's figuring out the proportions of like what ingredients I want to buy to cook for a date that I'm going to have, or how much I should tip on the bill when I take a girl out to dinner. There's plenty of ways that you're going to use math. And so while you may think, when am I ever going to use y equals mx plus b? When am I going to need to know the Pythagorean theorem? You may never use the Pythagorean theorem, but the inductive reasoning and the logical thought processing that you're going to use for the Pythagorean theorem are things that you're going to employ whether you go into a trade working as a welder or working on HVAC systems or working for the city in road construction. It's stuff that you're going to use whether you become an anesthesiologist or whether you are working on what kind of fees you're going to charge a client as a lawyer. There are going to be things you're definitely going to use as a math teacher, or as you're thinking about your lesson planning, or how many pages you're going to ask your students to read as a language arts instructor, or as a principal, figuring out scheduling. I'm on the scheduling team, and I tell you, figuring out how to get everybody in their classes was quite the puzzle, and it took a lot of logical reasoning, a lot of thought processing, and a lot of just, we need to do A before B so we can get to C. And so my big ask of you, my writing prompt for you, what I'd like for you to spend your day today doing, and hopefully you don't spend more than 10 or 15 minutes writing this. I really don't want you guys to struggle too much, is I want to know what's your history of mathematics. Possibly preschool or kindergarten through 8th, 9th, 10th grade, from the beginning of your educational career to now. What has been your experience in math classes? What have you liked? What have you disliked? What have you struggled with? What have you just soared over the moon and done exceptionally well at? I want to know what you've used in life that you've studied in math so far. I want to know what you haven't used and what you find pointless. I want to know where you think you might use mathematics or some of the content we learn in this course in the career that you hope to get to one day. I want to know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, raw and uncut, but school appropriate, hopefully, in this writing prompt. Mr. Johnson let me know that you guys know a lot of ACIT strategies, so answer the question, cite some evidence, and then explain how that evidence supports your claim. Feel free to use that. I'll make sure that there's a rubric in the document, but some questions, some things that you can look at, pardon me while I grab my laptop so I can read it, is what did you like or dislike? What did you find helpful in mathematics? How useful do you feel that the mathematics you have explored is so far in your everyday life? And what activities or learning experiences were your favorite or least favorite? Was there a lesson you really liked, or a tool that you got to use, or some sort of online resource you enjoyed? Because I want to make sure that I make this class as enjoyable for you as possible. I get that we've got the barrier of I'm talking to a camera right now on a Wednesday afternoon, 2 weeks before you guys are going to watch this. And you're going to be watching it through your screen, and God only knows what you've got going on at your house, whether you're going to be helping out your siblings, whether you got to go to work later in the afternoon, or anything else. But I want to know what you've liked or disliked so I can try and make this the best possible class for you this year and make the experience enjoyable for all of us, your class period, the other 4 sections, and for myself. So hopefully you guys can take this prompt and run with it. Feel free to read all the literature I've included below, but that's going to be your task for the day. I'll see you guys in the next one.